Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, I will explain how to replace the rear brake shoes on 1992 to 1999 Chevrolet and GMC K1500 trucks. Step number 1. Park the truck on a flat surface and place blocks in front of and behind the front wheels to keep the vehicle from rolling. Raise the rear of the truck using a hydraulic jack and place jack stands under both ends of the rear differential for safety as shown in the image. 2. Remove the wheel cover using a small pry bar or flathead screwdriver. 3. Remove the wheel lug nuts using an impact tool and a 22mm socket and proceed to remove the rear wheels. 4. Hit the drum lightly with a brass hammer near the center as shown in the image to make it easier to remove. 5. Next, remove the drum by pulling it out with your hands as shown in the image. If it is stuck, apply penetrating lubricant in the center area where the drum meets with the rear axle. Note, it is recommended to do one side at a time, this way you can use the side that hasn't been disassembled as a reference when installing the new brake shoes back on. 6. Remove the spring that joins the brake shoes at the bottom using needle nose pliers as shown in the image. 7. Detach the emergency brake cable by pulling the spring away from the bracket and pulling the cable out at the same time. 8. Remove the brake shoe hold-down springs by pressing the retainer inward and turning it at the same time so it clears the hold-down pin and proceed to remove the hold-down spring and pin on both brake shoes. 9. Remove both brake shoes, springs and adjusting screw as a whole by simply pulling the brake shoes slightly outward and sliding them upward to clear the axle and set them down on a workbench. 10. Remove the self-adjuster spring using needle nose pliers as shown in the image. 11. Remove the spring shown in the image using locking pliers or needle nose pliers. 12. Next, remove the safety horseshoe locking clip that fastens the emergency brake lever by prying it open using a flathead screwdriver and sliding it out with pliers as shown in the image. 13. Clean and transfer the emergency brake lever onto the correct brake shoe. Add a light coat of brake grease to the contact surface between the lever and the pin and install a new horseshoe lock to secure the lever in place. 14. Next, place a container under the backing plate and clean it with brake cleaner and a towel as shown in the image. 15. Once the brake backing plate is clean and dry, apply a small layer of brake grease on the contact points shown in the image. 16. Next, disassemble the adjusting screw and clean it with brake cleaner. Once it is dry, apply a light coat of brake grease on the threads of the screw as shown in the image. Reassemble the adjusting screw in the correct way and screw it all the way in. Next, back the adjusting nut about 2 turns so it will be easier when installing the brake drum. Install the adjusting screw assembly and the upper retaining spring onto the new brake shoes. 17. Next, install the adjusting lever and spring in their original position as shown in the image. 18. Slide the new brake shoes into place starting from the top while pulling the brake shoes outward slightly as you slide them down into their original position as shown in the image. 19. Install the remaining components in the reverse order to which they were removed, ensuring that all the new springs are seated correctly in their original position. As aforementioned, if needed, use the other side as a reference to ensure that all the components have been installed correctly. Once you have replaced the brake shoes on one side, proceed to replace the brake shoes on the other side. 20. In case the brake backing plate does not have the adjustment window, clean the inner side of the brake drum, install it on the vehicle, and proceed to rotate it in both directions. If it rotates freely and you do not hear a rubbing sound between the brake shoes and the brake drum, remove it and open the adjusting screw a couple of turns. Install the brake drum again and repeat the procedure until you hear a slight rubbing sound followed by a slight drag caused by a slight friction between the brake shoes and the brake drum. Repeat that procedure on both wheels. 21. Install the wheels and lug nuts back on, tighten the lug nuts slightly using a lug wrench. 22. Lift the back of the truck using a floor jack, remove the jack stands and lower the truck to the ground. 23. Once the truck is on the ground, set the emergency brake and proceed to tighten the wheel lug nuts at the specs listed in your owner's manual. 24. Take the truck for a test drive to make sure that there are no abnormal noises present and everything works correctly. If there are no abnormal noises present and everything works correctly, congratulate yourself for having performed a successful repair and for saving money at the same time. Have a wonderful day.